All right. What is up, guys? Luffuu here. Obviously, you're in my YouTube channel. So yeah, today I'm gonna make a video commentating over my 50/20 no def coin win. Um, I'm doing a commentating video instead of just a full-on guide because there's so much going on. Like, there's actually so much going on. If I made a guide for 50/20 no def coin, it would be quite the lengthy video, and especially since the Bones 5 has already made a guide on the entire game. You can just go watch that. I'll link it in the description if I can remember. Hopefully I can. I'll link it in the description if you guys want the Bones guide. But if you only want 50/20 no def coin and what I did to win, then you're gonna watch this video. So yeah, this video is a little bit different than the others because usually I have like a script for my videos. This video I am just talking, me and you, and we're gonna go over my win here. So this is my video that I uploaded yesterday. I'll skip over this beginning section. Okay, yeah, this is it. All right. Let me get this thing off the screen. There you go. I'll be pausing here and there, obviously, to explain some things. So yeah, I'm already gonna pause. So as the night starts, you have 10 seconds to farm as many coins as you can until the 10-second mark where you're gonna be closing the door on Toy Freddy, right? You're gonna be fending off Mr. Hugs for the first and only time. So yeah, the night will start and you will do this thing called maskless. You can choose to not do this, but it's more efficient this way. You can farm more coins while also doing the initial setup. This initial setup is basically, if you've already seen 50/20, like regular 50/20, it's the same thing. So I'm going to show you guys right here. Well, it's going to be hard for me to show it actually because I'm doing this really fast. Okay, I'll just say it. You guys can understand. I mean, if you're wanting to beat 50/20 no def coin, you know what I'm talking about here. So you're gonna go into the duct system first, and you're gonna put the audio lure on the left side, right? Because when you go into the duct system for the first time, or like when the night starts, the duct system will have the left side open and the right side closed. That's just default at the start of the night. That's how it is. So you're gonna put on the lure on the left side so that Happy Frog, Pig Patch, and what's his name? Mr. Hippo. Those three will get lured by that audio 100% of the time. They will just be stuck on that audio lure and they will not move for the rest of the night. So you want to do that, right? And about Nedbear and Orville, those guys we'll get to later. I'll explain how we fend those guys off. Because they can't get lured, or they can get lured, but sometimes they won't. So if they get through and go into that opening on the left side, then it sounds like you're screwed, but you can actually do something to fend them off as well. So yeah. And then quickly I click on the vent system here. I'll explain what I'm doing, but first let me explain like the initial setup. So yeah, then you're gonna click on the vent system and you're gonna close the left vent, or like put the vent snare on the left side. Let me see if I can like pause it real quick. Let's see if I can go back. So yeah, you saw how I put the vent snare over here. That will make sure that Mangle won't get in like the first like 40 seconds, something like that. Because with this, with the way that we're going to be playing here, we're not going to be closing the left door or the front vent whenever we're in the cameras in like the initial like 40 seconds of the night. Because you might notice, like if you've seen like the older strategies that people use for 50/20, Whenever they'd go into cams to reset vent or do whatever, they would always close the left door, close the front vent, and then go into cameras to make sure that they never die to Freddy, anyone from the vents, stuff like that. But that's just a waste of power. We can do it in a different way. And power is very tight on 5020 no def coin, so you definitely want to be doing this instead. So yeah, then I click on the cam system here, and now we're going to be heading over to Freddy. So yeah, go to Toy Freddy. Why is my quality so bad? I guess it's because I got it from the stream VOD, so the quality isn't that great. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, we go on the Toy Freddy cam, and we want to close where Mr. Hugs is. So he was on the left side for me. I closed the left door. And you see like right here on the timer, if you look closely, let me put it back here a little bit. If you look closely, I got this ad. By the way, every ad you get has a chance to spawn every 10 seconds, right? Every 10 seconds, there's a chance that you're going to get an ad. So if you're paying attention to the timer, this timer is very important, the timer of the night. Every 10 seconds, you can like spam enter on your keyboard. And if you get an ad, then you're going to quickly close it. If you don't, then you just don't. So yeah, you see how I close Mr. Hugs here at about 11? Don't close off Mr. Hugs before 10 seconds on the timer. So like whenever you get this ad, sometimes you don't, but if you do, you can kind of base off the ad to know that you're over the 10-second mark, and you can close off Mr. Hugs. Now, you can close Mr. Hugs before 10, but make sure to not leave Toy Freddy's camera before 10 seconds. The reason why is because if you close the door on Mr. Hugs at like, let's say 7, and then you get off the camera or off the Toy Freddy camera, Toy Freddy will game over at 25, right? You game over at 25 seconds, and we don't want that because we're going to be dealing with plush trap around that time, right? And if Toy Freddy games over at 25 and you have to watch plush trap, which is like 26, there's many chances that Toy Freddy can kill you, and that's just big RNG. We don't want that. But if you close Mr. Hugs off after 10 seconds, then he will only game over at 35. I don't know exactly how that works, but it does. It works like that. So yeah, you close off Mr. Hugs after 10, he'll only game over at 35, and you should be good, right? That's more than enough time to deal with plush trap. At least if you're doing 11 seconds Zor. The way I played it is every time I didn't get Zor at 11 seconds, I would just reset. It is possible to beat this if you get a 21-second Zor, but the strategy changes a little bit. It's not that different, but it does change. I didn't bother learning that. Every time I just didn't get a Zor at 11, I just reset. Sometimes it can feel very frustrating. He won't show up for like 5 different runs, but it's just, it is what it is. This mode has a lot of RNG. So yeah, with that done, now I'm going to explain what is happening in these 10 seconds as I'm doing the initial setup. So night starts, and you can see that I'm always flipping my camera, closing. You can hear the vent noise, right? I'm closing the vent, the side vent on my right. That's where JJ and Balloon Boy spawns. And clicking Helpy in between. So you see like every click that I do on the camera, I'm flipping the camera down, dealing with Balloon Boy / JJ, and clicking on Helpy. This is what we call maskless. And what we're doing is we're basically just, in this initial setup, we are flipping the cameras every click we do on the camera. So like I click on Duck System, close the camera, click on Helpy, close the vent. Then I flip the camera up again, click on the audio lure, close the camera, click on Helpy, click on the vents, or close off the vents, right? And as you're doing that, you're going to be doing this initial setup and also farming a lot of coins, because when you click on Helpy, you get a coin. When you close off Balloon Boy, you get another coin. So that's how we're farming a lot of coins at the start and also doing the initial setup. This takes a lot of skill. It's pretty hard to do. Instead, you can just do the normal coin farm, which is like flip the camera up, then down, close the vent, click on help you, put on the mask. Well, you put on the mask first, then close vent and click help you, but you know what I mean. That's just the normal way you farm for coins, right? Which is what I did in my 50-20 attempt win. Yeah, you could do that, but if you do this, it is technically more efficient. You get more coins this way, right? It's pretty hard to pull off, but with enough practice, you're gonna get it. The main problem with maskless is these two guys right here, right? Golden Freddy and Nightmare BB, they'll all have a chance to spawn. They'll have a chance to spawn every time you flip the camera. So what you want to do is, if Golden Freddy spawns, you just pull up the camera again and he'll disappear, right? If BB spawns, you want to flash the light first before pulling the cameras up again. If both of them spawn, then you want to flash BB and then pull up the cameras really fast. If you feel like you can't do that fast enough, you can always just put on the mask and then flash BB, but that's obviously slower and you might not be able to like finish the setup before the 10-second mark. Because the idea is you want to get to Toy Freddy's camera at like 9-10 seconds, right? You want to get there about that time so you can close off Mr. Hugs and then do the next section of the night. So you see here I got both BB, Golden Freddy. I got Fredbear on the doors. If Fredbear spawns, or Nightmare, if they spawn, that's good because they will also give you a coin. That's just extra coins. They could also just not spawn. It is what it is. But yeah, the reason why I put on the mask there instead of doing what I said just now is because I also got OMC, right? Old Man Consequences. I got OMC, and he's gonna lock my cameras if I don't click on if I don't catch the fish. So it's just a lot of things to like deal with. So I thought it was safer to just put on the mask so I don't die to Golden Freddy while doing all of that. But it is possible to click on OMC, flash BB, close the left door, flip the cameras up before Golden Freddy kills you. It's just really tight, the timing. So yeah. So this is let me just go back to like the beginning of the night. This is how it looks in full. I'm gonna just let it play. So yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, another thing that helps with doing this maskless is putting your cursor around where the next button you're gonna click is, right? You can see that like sometimes I'll put on my cursor over to like the right side. Is my OBS capturing the cursor? It's not. Can I make it capture the cursor? Wait, it is capturing cursor. Then why is it not showing up on the thing? Oh well. I guess I can just use display. Yeah, if I use display, it shows. Okay, I'll just use display capture. So yeah, I'll like at the start of the night, I'll put my mouse over here before flipping up the cameras because this is around where the duck system button is. And then I'm gonna flip the camera down, and before flipping it up, I'll put my mouse around here because this is where you want to put the audio layer, like around here, right? So you know, you get what I mean, right? You're like pre-placing your cursor where you're gonna click so you don't have to like actually click on it. Now, like this is pretty hard to do, and sometimes I don't do this. For an example, when I did the vent system, the audios or the vent snare here, I didn't actually put my cursor down here. It's better if you do it like that, but if you don't do it and you're good at flicking your mouse, then like let's say my mouse is here, I just like quickly flip and click the vent snare, right? That's what I did in this attempt. So yeah, you can either just flick to the buttons if you're good at flicking, or you can pre-place your cursor. It doesn't matter, whatever works is best. So let's keep going. So yeah, you see now I got Zor. If Zor doesn't spawn at 11, just reset. At least with the strategy that I'm doing, just reset. You'll not be able to beat it if you get a 21-second Zor. If it is possible to beat it with a 20-second Zor, but it's a different strategy, at least like at the start. I'm pretty sure the Bones 5 covers 21-second Zor in his video, so again, the link will be in the description for his video. You can go watch that. It's also a little bit more in depth, so it's a good video. I used it to beat it myself, so shout out to my boy Bones. So yeah, now okay. So yeah, now we're gonna be doing more coin farming, but we're not gonna be doing maskless, right? So from 10 or 11 to 26, that's when we're gonna be doing just regular coin farming. By the way, I forgot to mention, at the start of the night, you want to put on power gen. You don't need to turn off the fan, just turn on the power gen. You press 1 at the start of the night, or you can hold 1 and it'll turn on as soon as the night starts. Yeah, so now at 15, you want to put on GMB. You know, the regular GMB cycle. If you don't know, I'll quickly explain it. So the night will start, you're going to put power gen after 15 seconds. Or I guess like 14 is better because of Chica. So yeah, you want to turn on GMB like between 14 to 15. Never turn on GMB after a 15-second interval, because Chica has a chance to kill you, and also that means that you are turning on the GMB a little bit too late. So like let's say I turn on the GMB at 15.2, right? And then the next GMB cycle at 45, I turn it on at like 45.2 again. That's gonna keep adding up. And then let's say, I don't know, like at 130, I don't know if it's even a GMB cycle at 130, but I think it's not. I think 145. Yeah, 145, then you're gonna have like an offset of like almost a second, if not a second. I'm not really doing any math. I'm just like kind of estimating. And you're gonna have to turn on the GMB a second earlier, or else you're gonna fail. So always turn it on before. This is something that I always kept on my head. It's always best to lose power gen time than losing GMB time. Always lose power gen time if you need. Never lose GMB time. GMB needs to always be 15 seconds. If you have power gen on for like 10 seconds, 12 seconds instead of 15, that's okay. Because power gen won't actually lose you the run. Well, it will if you don't turn on power gen like at all. But power gen is a little bit more lenient than GMB. So yeah. And then after you do like Ballora of 14, put on the mask for Toy Chica, Toy Bonnie. Now you're gonna start farming. This is very simple stuff. It's just a regular coin farm. So yeah, now 26 hit. Before 26, by the way, switch the wet floor sign. Switch the wet floor sign from the left to the right. The reason why is because now we're going to be watching Plush Trap, and Rockstar Chica has a chance to kill you while you're doing that. So yeah. Oh yeah, another thing is Nedbear and Orville can kill you right here, but it's pretty rare. In my runs, I was not turning on heater, but if you want to be as consistent as you can turn on the heater before doing this section here. The reason why I don't turn on the heater is because, like I said, it like breaks the whole like losing GMB time, right? So like obviously you could turn on GMB at like 10 to 14, which is a power gen cycle, because that way you don't lose GMB time. But I just didn't bother. Like they would kill me like 1 in like 8 runs or something. Sometimes you'd get unlucky, get them twice in a row, but It is what it is. This is like the least RNG death out of all the RNG deaths, honestly. Um, this is not gonna bother you too much. It didn't bother me, and I played this for literally like 50 plus hours to beat. So yeah, it's not that bad. But Rockstar Chica will kill you a lot. Like she will kill you more often than not if you don't swap the wet floor sign. So make sure to do that. So yeah. Another thing to note is always pay attention to who's on the table. So you can see that in this run, Foxy was on the table before I flipped the camera. What you can do, which is really important, this is really, really, really important. If Foxy is on the table, when you go to watch Plush Trap, click on the Foxy camera before that. Always click on the Foxy camera before that, because what that's going to do is that's going to reset Foxy's like progression to 0, right? Because the way he works is just like FNAF 1. If you don't watch him on the cameras, he will keep progressing until you'll be in your office. And when he gets to the office, you can't watch him on the cameras anymore. He's just there until he kills you. So make sure to watch Foxy before clicking on Plush Trap if he's on the table. If it's Bonnie, then you just watch Plush Trap. By the way, something you can do as well is as you're watching Toy Freddy for the first time, when you go to Toy Freddy camp, you can click on the Foxy camera after you close off Mr. Hugs. You close Mr. Hugs, click on the Foxy camera, and then flip your camera down. Because that way you're going to reset Foxy as well. You know, if you can squeeze in a Foxy watch in any point of the night, if it feels like it is possible, do it, because it's really important. Foxy is very RNG. Sometimes he will literally just make the run unwinnable. In this video, I had that one moment where I flipped the camera to swap Foxy to Bonnie on the table 10 times in a row, and he didn't leave. Obviously, that's insanely unlucky. That's probably not going to happen to you, but it can happen, and it's an RNG. Like Foxy is an RNG factor of this night. So yeah, click on cam 5, then I click on cam 6. I couldn't see Plush Trap leaving there, but after playing so long, I know kind of when he leaves. You can also use the timer if you want. So like I clicked at Plush Trap at like 26.5, 27. So he's probably gonna be gone after like 29 or 30. The reason why I couldn't see anything is because Ballora spawned. When Ballora spawns, your cameras go all staticky. You can't see anything. So yeah, you just kind of like, as you play, you're gonna like just have a feeling of when he's left anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I also got Afton. I don't know if you guys noticed. Afton spawned, so make sure to close off him. Afton can be a big pain sometimes. Like Afton can spawn at like around 1 minute, which is also when Lolbit spawns. And I've died like at least like 2 or 3 times to that, and it was very frustrating because I go over to click LOL, so I take my hand off of F, and then he spawns, and then I die. It's very annoying when that happens. If you can, you use your right hand, right, the hand where you like have your mouse, if you're right-handed, obviously, to type LOL. I'll get to that eventually, though. So yeah, I watched him flip down the cameras. Now it's a power gen cycle, but before that, at least how I do it, I wait till I see new challenger appeared, because this is Nightmare Chica. I just couldn't remember the name for some reason. So yeah, this is Nightmare Chica. So you see how my usage is at 2. That's because I just turned on the power AC. And you turn on power AC really fast. Like as soon as this message appears, turn on power AC for not even a second. Just turn it on real quick. And then swap to power gen. Because the way she works, so you can actually see right here. You guys can see up here, right? This is Nightmare Chica. So yeah, turn it on for really small amount of time until this disappears, right? The teeth. And then you put on power gen. Power gen and fan, I should say. Always turn on power gen with the fan. And when you turn on GMB, turn off the fan. So like keybinds are like 1 space and then 5 space. And if you turn on power AC, it's gonna turn off. Actually, no, power AC does not turn off your fan. Heater turns off your fan by default. So watch out for that. So yeah, swap the wet floor sign again. Because basically this is like what you need to remember. Rockstar Chica will move from one side to the other every time you flip your camera. Well, it's not every time, but like every time we flip the camera in this run, she will move. So what you want to do is you want to swap the wet floor sign every time you flip the camera, and you should be good. You won't die to Rockstar Chica. So yeah, you swap it, and then I like doing this at 37 because it's a little bit before the 40-second interval where you get an ad, OMC, mute call. It's really annoying. So I do this at 37 where I turn on the heater. We want to turn on the heater because now when we flip the cameras, there's a good chance that you're going to die to either Nedbear or Orville. So by turning on the heaters, you're going to push them back, and that's going to give you time to flip the cameras and do whatever you need and not die to Orville or Nedbear. Sometimes they'll still sneak in. I've died a couple times like that. They can be really fast, and it's really annoying when it happens, but it can happen. Again, this night has a lot of RNG to it. It's quite annoying, but you get it eventually, just like I did. So yeah, I turn on the heater for like about 2-3 seconds even. And before 40, I turn on power gen and the fan again. So yeah, I got a mute call. You can spam enter here, by the way, if you get an ad, to make sure the ad is in your screen the least amount of time as possible. So yeah, now we're getting ready for the first Showtime. So the main difference from 5020 and 5020 no defcoin is obviously we don't defcoin Funtime Foxy. But Funtime Foxy is quite the character. She changes this run like a lot. Because that means we can't cam stall on 2, right? We can't cam stall on camera 2 for the plushy animatronics because we need to watch Funtime Foxy on their camera. And that also means that you have to flip for Funtime Foxy, which also makes Toy Freddy a lot scarier. Because the way Toy Freddy works is when he's game overed, every 0.5 second interval that you're in the cameras, Toy Freddy has a chance, a 1 in 10 chance to kill you. And to watch the showtimes, you need to be at specific 0.5 intervals, right? 45, 130, and so on. So that means that every time you watch a showtime, you're always going to be rolling that 1 in 10 with Toy Freddy. There's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. Like, it's just RNG. We can't deal with Toy Freddy the entire night. But yeah. You just need to get that out of the way. Because if you try this and you die and you're like, what the fuck? This guide is terrible. It's RNG. So yeah. Before flipping the camera here, you're going to be wanting to flip the camera at 44.3, 44.4, something like that. Before flipping the camera though, like let's say like the way I like to do this is like after 40 seconds, close the left door for 1 second. Close the left door for 1 second. The reason why is because Toy Freddy, regular Freddy is going to be at your left door most likely, and you close that off. And if you hear the bonking sound, you open. Ballora can show up as well, so make sure to close her off first. and then get ready for the camera flip. I believe, and I think I actually do this here. I don't know if I do. Sometimes I close off the front vent because I'm scared, but I believe if you close off the front vent here, you can flip this camera without even closing the left door or front vent. Because it's pretty early in the night still. I don't know if I do it here. I probably don't. Okay, yeah, I do close the front vent. So yeah, 44.3, 44.4. It's actually 44.5 when I flipped. But you want to make sure that the camera registers. You want to make sure that the camera registers, right? That you're in the camera before 45. And you want to stay in the cameras until it hits 45, right? For the first showtime, the 1 a.m. showtime. Now, the way the strategy works is you're going to be watching Funtime Foxy every hour, right? Every in-game hour. Sometimes Funtime Foxy won't have a showtime until like 3 a.m., right? But we're not really checking the sign to see when the showtime is going to occur. So we're just literally flipping the camera every hour because it's safe this way. The reason why we don't check is because, I mean, this is a prime example. Balloon Boy is in front of the sign here, right? Balloon Boy is in front. Sometimes you can get Mangle in front, Phantom Mangle, and they're just gonna block the sign, and it's just very inconvenient. So yeah, we're just flipping every hour basically to check for showtimes. So yeah, reset ventilation here, and quickly, and I mean quickly, click on cam 2. Make sure that you only stay in this camera for the least amount of time you can, which is 0.5 seconds, right? 0.5 seconds to watch the showtime at 45, and to make sure that you don't stay in the camera until 45.5 because you're going to be rolling another 1 in 10 with Freddy. You're going to be rolling maybe a chance with I don't know, Orville if he's close. So yeah, click on cam 2 and then flip the camera down. So yeah, clicking on cam 2 is very important. If you don't click on cam 2, then the next section here is going to be pretty scary. You're going to have to get quite lucky with Toy Freddy. I don't know if it happened this run. Hopefully it didn't. But sometimes I've had runs where I messed up clicking on cam 2. So it got pretty scary afterwards. Obviously it didn't win, but it's possible. It's just more RNG. So yeah, you get off the cams, and now deal with everything that's in the office. I click on Helpy, I close the side vent. If Nightmare or Fredbear show up, close them off. If Scrap Baby here, which I think she's actually up. If she's up, do the control shock. Deal with Nightmare BB. Bonnet. And then flip the wet floor sign, right? Flip the wet floor sign because we're going to be flipping the camera again at 52 seconds right here. Oh yeah, one thing to note is if you close the left door for Freddy before the 45-second mark and you don't hear a bonk, then he's most likely going to be on the door right now when you do this flip at 52 seconds. So when you flip the camera down after 45, make sure to close the left door to get rid of Freddy. I've died many times like this. It is quite annoying sometimes. You just don't remember, but with practice, you'll get there. But yeah. So yeah, 52 seconds. Close the front vent. Always close the front vent before flipping the camera. And now we are going to be buying our first plushie. If you farm pretty decently, you're going to have 20 coins. I have 26, which is more than enough. It's always nice to have a little bit more than 20 because we need to buy 2 plushies. We need to buy 2 plushies before we just cam stall and live. So yeah, this is there's no stalling until I believe 4 a.m. 4 a.m. is when you can start stalling Funtime Foxy instead of checking for their showtimes, and you won't get killed by the third animatronic that gives you a chance to buy the plushie. The reason why is because the night is going to end before you even flip the camera again. So yeah. Now we're going to be buying the plushie. So what you're going to do, and this needs to be insanely fast, okay? Practice this if you need, because this is very important, okay? So I flipped my camera. I believe I haven't hit a 0.5 second interval yet, but you're going to hit multiple here. Even if you're really fast, you're going to hit multiple 0.5 second intervals. This is very scary. Toy Freddy will kill you a lot of times here. And this is why you got to be fast, because every 0.5 second interval, 1 in 10, 1 in 10, 1 in 10. And it's just a chance that you just die, right? So right here, you're going to click on the vent system and then back to cam system really fast. The reason why you do this is because if Phantom Angle or BB are in the cameras, this will despawn them. So you do that. And as you go to cam system, you see this is Nightmare Bonnie, right? You're going to see who is here. It could be Nightmare Bonnie, could be Nightmare Mangle, or Baby, right? And this is why you put it on cam 2 at 45, because you get to check who's here immediately. So then quickly you're going to go to the prize counter, cam 7, and a balloon can spawn, which is kind of annoying. But thankfully it was Nightmare Bonnie that spawned, and you can see that this is their plushie. If it helps, memorize where the plushies are. So like right here is Bonnie, around here is Baby, and down here is Mangle, right? So if you get a balloon, then you can just click where you think the button is, and if you hear the buying sound, that, then you're good. So now, after buying the plushie, you're gonna quickly click on cam 6 and then press S to close the camera. Press S instead of like flipping down here where the camera button is, because that's gonna take extra time, and you flip the camera down. So let me go back to before I did all of this, just to show you how many Toy Freddy intervals I hit. I'm not the fastest at doing this, by the way. So it was definitely one of the major like problems of the run, just living buying the plushie. So yeah, my camera registers at like 52.5 or 6, which I don't think hit a Toy Freddy interval right at the start. So one Toy Freddy interval right here. You could just die right here. It's very unlucky, but it could just happen, and you're gonna have to reset. So yeah, hit another Toy Freddy interval, so another 1 in 10. Another 1 in 10 here. Cam 6, and then off. So I hit 3, I think 3, maybe 4 Toy Freddy intervals. This was a pretty fast plushie buy, I'll be honest. This was pretty fast. So I hit like around 3 1 in 10s. You want to make sure to hit the least amount of 1 in 10s possible, because it's RNG. It's literally just RNG. You could just die doing this. So yeah, now we're gonna be getting to the 1 minute portion. So here you get Lolbit. You could get what's his name? You could get Afton with Lolbit right here, which is very annoying. Like I said, make sure to use your other hand, the one that's on your mouse, to click on LOL, because if Afton appears, then you click on LOL with one hand, F with the other, and you should be fine. If you don't do that, there's a good chance that you're gonna die. If you're fast enough, then good job, you're pretty skilled. So yeah, 1 minute, we put on power gen. Keep in mind that when you flip for the plushie buy, you're gonna have Rockstar Freddy show up sometimes. What you want to do is you want to wait until you get to the power gen cycle of 1 to turn on the heater. You want to turn on the heater because that's going to make him malfunction, and he'll turn off again. You won't have to pay the 5 coins. We don't want to pay 5 coins because we need to farm 20 coins again for the second plushie. So yeah, wait till you hit the power gen cycle at 1, turn on the heater for a little bit, You want to turn on the heater for like 1 to 2 seconds, and then you turn it off. Even if Rockstar Freddy doesn't like turn off immediately, he still says like please deposit 5 coins. He will eventually turn off because I don't know, coding, something in the coding is that's how he works. You don't actually have to like keep the heater on until he turns off. You can just turn it on for 1-2 seconds and eventually he will turn off. Now, by the way, if you do this too late, I've had this happen a couple times. Toy Freddy was like already getting, Rockstar Freddy was already getting pretty impatient, and then I turned on the heater for 1-2 seconds. He didn't turn off immediately, and he went to that section where he's like, please deposit, and he kills me before he actually turns off. Because when he's saying please deposit over and over again, like he has like a chance of just killing you, right? So if he kills you before the heater registers that it turned him off, then yeah, you're gonna die, and it's pretty annoying. So make sure to do this as fast as you can, because you don't want that happening to you. So yeah, next thing that you're gonna check is Foxy. So you can see that Foxy is on the table here. If you're looking to the left, you're not gonna see him because the meat arenas are gonna be blocking. So make sure to like glance to the right side to be able to see him here. So yeah, I see him. And then this is when we do a 0 frame flip. This is the first time I did a 0 frame flip. We'll do it a couple more times. It consists of basically pressing S on the keyboard to flip the camera up, and then flicking your mouse down to the camera button. What that's going to do is it's going to flip the camera so fast, flip it up and down so fast that it registers a flip, and it's going to swap. You can see that it's swapped to Bonnie here. It's going to swap Foxy, but it's not going to count as you going into the cameras, so no one's going to kill you from this door, from the vent, from anywhere. Anything that like works when you flip up the camera isn't actually going to work, right? So we do this to be able to swap Foxy off the table, so which makes him not progress, obviously. The idea is keeping Foxy away the entire night. You don't want him to be in your office. If he shows up in your office, then let's say like 2 flips away from winning, you're probably screwed. If it's 1 flip away, then you have a chance. If you only got to your office in the last flip, then just don't flip your camera again and you should be good. But yeah, make sure to always pay attention to Foxy. Don't leave Foxy on the table for long, because he'll be building up, you'll be progressing and then entering your office. You don't want that. So yeah, now that we've done that, Bonnie is now on the table. We can now chill. Kind of. You're going to be paying attention to the front vent here, because obviously we're in a pretty dangerous moment of the night. Everyone is active. They're right outside your door waiting for you to flip the cameras. So we're not just going to be doing coin farming the way we were doing at the start. So the way to farm coins now is looking here to see if Springtrap is here on the vent, and also hearing Ennard, hearing Molten Freddy, and also sometimes you get coins because of the vent snare on Mangle. So yeah, that's how you're going to be farming coins. And also when you flip the cameras until like 3 a.m. The next plushie buy is going to be at 3 a.m. at 2:25, I think. So 3 a.m. is at 2:15. 2:25 is when you're going to be flipping for the next plushie. So you have until then to get another 20 coins. So yeah, I get coins there on Springtrap, and now we can chill. It's kind of a chill section of the night. So yeah, before 1:15, turn on GMB. And right here, at 1:20. So this is what you're gonna do before flipping the cameras. Right, our next cam flip is at 2. Before flipping the cameras, 10 seconds before, I should say, you're gonna be doing a couple checks so you don't die when you flip the camera. Get rid of the ad, get rid of the mute call. I closed off Molten Freddy there to get more coins. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna swap the wet floor sign, close the left door, and wait till Freddy bonks. Freddy has bonked. Did I swap the wet floor yet? Looks like I did. And yeah. So now we're going to be waiting until like 29.3, 29.4, and we're going to be flipping the camera to watch the next Showtime. The reason we flip at 29.3 or 4 is because we want to be in the cameras the least amount of times possible to not die to Toy Freddy. You don't want to hit that first like 0.5 second interval. So you flip just before it because that like compensates for the time the camera's flipping before it actually counts as you being in the cameras. So yeah, we're going to be watching the next Showtime. It's literally the same as 45 seconds. Actually, no, it's different here. So yeah, hits 130 on the timer. I was actually pretty on point with that. That could have been scary because if you close the camera before 130, you're not gonna have watched the Funtime Foxy Showtime, so you're gonna die the next time you flip the camera. So yeah, reset ventilation, wait till it hits 130, and close the camera. We're not gonna be clicking on cam 2 because we're actually gonna watch another Showtime before buying the next plushie, so you don't have to flip the camera to 2. So yeah, anything that spawns, you deal with it. Every time you flip the cameras for the Showtimes, you're going to get an extra amount of coins because, you know, some things can spawn like Helpy, Balloon Boy, Nightmare, Fredbear, stuff like that. So yeah, now we're at a GMB or a power gen cycle. Foxy's on the camera. I already did one flip and he didn't leave. There's a 1 in 3 chance that he leaves every flip. 1 in 3 chance in every 2 seconds. So if you spam flip the camera, it's not gonna work. You gotta wait 2 seconds between each flip. Yeah, so what we're gonna do here is obviously turn on the heater for Freddy. So you see I turned it off before he actually like turned off, but you see, look. See, he turned off. Even though he was literally saying please deposit, he still turned off eventually. But yeah, 0 frame flip. I didn't even notice that I did it, but I did it again. Now Bonnie's on the table. Always keep Bonnie on the table. It's pretty important, or else Foxy will end your run eventually. And now we can chill again. Just make sure to keep the power gen GMB cycle going on. So yeah, now we can chill. Keep listening for vents, looking if Springtrap is there to get more coins. So yeah, here Molten Freddy. Close that off. So yeah, 10 seconds away. So the next flip is at 2:15, 3 a.m. We're now at that mark of 10 seconds away. This flip is going to be a little bit different because shortly after this flip, we're going to be doing the second plushie buy. So what we're actually going to do here is do the usual, swap the wet floor, close the left door for Freddy, wait till you hear the bonk, close, and then open. And then at 2:10 is when I like to do it because it's closer to when you flip. At 2:10, I'm going to turn on the heater for like about 2-3 seconds. So I turn on the heater and then I swap it to the GMB here because we're about to hit the GMB cycle. And then we're going to watch the Showtime. So here I think I messed up. Did I? Let me see if I messed up. Okay, no, I didn't. It was just really fast. Here you want to click on Cam 2 because the next flip is going to be the plushie buy, right? I explained this before. The reason why you keep it on Cam 2 is because as soon as we do that, like vent system cam click, we're immediately going to see who's on the Cam 2, and then we can just go to the price counter. So yeah, if you miss Cam 2, which happens to me a lot, if you miss Cam 2 while you're doing that, then you're gonna have to, when you flip for the plushie, you're gonna have to click on cam 2, then 7, then buy the plushie, then cam 6, right? So that's gonna take an extra amount of time, which means Toy Freddy has more chances to kill you. It's bad when that happens, but it is possible to live, so don't give up if that happens. Just try to be as fast as you can to not die to Toy Freddy. So yeah, now get everything off the office. Okay, yeah, here I had a pretty bad mistake. Which is I let OMC lock my cameras, right? Somehow. I remember vividly this moment. I was like spamming C and it just wasn't catching the fish. And I got pretty tilted. I got pretty tilted, so this actually messed things up a little bit. So yeah, here's how it should go. You hit that OMC if it appears, and you get everything off your office. You don't have to deal with Toy Freddy if not Toy Freddy. I keep messing them up. There's too many Freddys. Regular Freddy. You don't have to deal with regular Freddy if you already bonked at 215, or before the 215 flip. You want to swap the wet floor sign again, and then at 225, you're going to close the front vent, flip the camera, and then buy the next plushie. But obviously, I let OMC through, which was really bad, really bad. This could have been the end of this run, but it wasn't, thankfully. So I waited a little bit here. I actually got rid of Rockstar Freddy here, which is a mistake. It is a mistake because we haven't hit the power gen cycle yet. This is yet another mistake in my run. I do fix it eventually, but it wastes power and also risks you dying to Puppet. You want to turn on the GMB or the power gen at 230. Don't do what I just did here. This is terrible. This is a bad mistake. But thankfully I didn't get punished for it. So yeah, now I'm gonna be doing my plushie buy. It's a little bit later than it was supposed to, but I don't even know if I'm hitting any Rockstar Bonnie intervals, because Rockstar Bonnie will attack you, has a chance to spawn, right? Rockstar Bonnie or Rockstar Withered Bonnie, both Bonnies, they have a chance of appearing every 13 seconds. And I don't know if I hit a 13-second interval here. At 225, you're not going to hit that interval for sure. Here I might have hit an interval, but they didn't spawn, which is really lucky. Again, this is a bad mistake. I just got lucky. But I'm not going to go and beat this again just to have a perfect run. I am good. Oh my god, this game is so terrible. So yeah, I'm malding right now, but I'm going to buy my plushie. Same sequence here. Cam 7, I saw that it was mango, buy the mango plushie. I actually took a little bit long to buy that plushie, but we're okay. Cam 6, and then out. So yeah, I still have my power gen on, and you guys notice that I turned on power gen at like 225 or something like that, which is bad. So what I'm going to do here to fix this is I'm going to turn on GMB, and I'm going to keep it on until the next power gen cycle. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just getting back into the cycle. This is wasting a lot of time that I could have had power gen on. So yeah, it was just a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. But thankfully I had enough power to finish the night. So yeah, disregard that error. Don't do what I did.
Fuck, man.
Don't miss OMC. And now we get to chill again. So yeah, with the second plushie bought, any coins that you have of spare, you can use to pay Rockstar Freddy. So you don't have to use the heater and risk dying to Chica or anything like that. So yeah, when it hits 3, we're gonna be watching the next Showtime. Same cycle, by the way. Before 10 seconds of the next Showtime, swap the wet floor sign, close the door on Freddy, and then around this time, you know, 0.3, 0.4, flip the camera, watch the showtime. You can see, you actually see here, my showtime was not at 4 a.m., but we're just checking every hour to make sure. We're checking every hour. So yeah, now, showtime at 5 a.m., right? But we're not actually gonna watch the showtime. What we're gonna do is we are going to flip our camera, the last cam flip, at 3:42. 3:42. The reason why 3:42 is because what's his name? Rockstar Bonnie has an interval at 3:42. So, well, actually, you don't flip exactly at 3:42. We'll flip after 3:42. But we want to reset the ventilation and get off the cameras before hitting 3:45. Obviously. I mean, obviously. If you stayed in the cameras until 3:45, then you're probably just dead to Toy Freddy. Let's be real here. But yeah. And basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to keep the camera on 6 and we're going to stall Funtime Foxy. We're not going to watch this 5 a.m. showtime. But because we did our last cam flip of the night before this showtime, we won't have to flip the camera ever again. So if we flip the camera after any point, Funtime Foxy will kill us. But we're not going to be doing that because we don't need to flip the camera anymore. We don't have to reset the ventilation again before the night ends. And we don't have to worry about the third plushie because they will also kill you when you flip the cameras up, but we don't have to flip the cameras up. So yeah, now what you're doing here is you're making sure Foxy is not on the table. He's being quite annoying here. Keep the GMB cycle. Don't forget the GMB cycle. It's very important. Yeah, now you're just holding out basically. You're just waiting. Make sure to keep the power gen GMB cycle going. And now we're about to get to the time. So here, I did it like 8 seconds before, I think, or 6 seconds before, which is kind of scary. Should have done it beforehand. Should have done it at 3:32. You know, that's 10 seconds before the flip. But I was a little bit nervous here, so I didn't do it like that. So I had to be quite quick. Move the thing, close the door on Freddy, and get ready for this flip. So this part can kill you. It's very scary. I think what I did here, I turned on GMB before doing this flip. The reason why is because before the 3:42 flip, you're doing a power gen cycle, right? You're doing a power gen cycle, and after you're done with this flip, you're gonna have around 3 to 2 seconds to like remember that you need to turn on GMB. So I just turned on GMB before that, so I don't have to worry about remembering that. It's quite late in the run. If you forget and you die to Puppet, it's gonna be very, very tragic. Wait, actually no. Never mind. Never mind. I did not turn on GMB here. I just Giga Chad it. So I flipped the camera, didn't die. Good job. Well, you shouldn't die in that camera flip. That camera flip, you should not get killed. Because all you're doing is resetting ventilation. Like, if I slow it down here, if I slow the video down, you can see I reset the vent and get out before the first 0.5 second interval. You want to make sure to do that. If you can't do that, then you're going to be rolling another Toy Freddy RNG moment. If you do that, though, then you won't die at all. This camera flip is fully safe. So yeah, last RNG moment of the run is at 3 minutes. That's when you have to watch your last showtime, where you have to roll your last 1 in 10. At 3:42, there's no RNG. There's no RNG. As long as you're quick enough. So yeah, I didn't swap the GMB here, but I quickly remember, I believe. Never mind. Okay, this is scary. Just do what I said beforehand. Turn it on before doing the flip. It's safer. What I did here is I remembered the GMB, but I turned it on after the 45 or the 15-second interval. Um, Actually, no. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're okay. Okay, this isn't bad. I was gonna say you could die to Chica, but you can't because you're not gonna be flipping the cameras again. But this also means that my GMB cycle is a little bit offset by like a couple milliseconds. So it doesn't really matter because I believe I turn on power gen like with like 1 second of like offset just to make sure that my GMB is fully wound. But yeah, Foxy got in my office, but it doesn't matter. We're not going to be flipping the camera again, right? If Foxy's not here at all, you did a great job with Foxy. If he is in, then it doesn't matter. You're still going to win. If he killed you, then unlucky. So yeah, pay Rockstar Freddy here if he shows up. You don't need to use any more coins. I actually missed the mute call down here if you guys noticed, but it's so late in the night it doesn't really matter. So yeah, now you've won. Like I don't have anything else to say. You have won. I'm closing doors here. You don't even have to do this. The only doors that you have to close are on Ballora because she can actually kill you without flipping the cameras. But anyone in the vents, it doesn't matter. They will not kill you until you flip the camera. Only Ballora, right? I don't know if Afton can show up at this point. But if he can, then close the vent. Afton will only show up once per night, so I had mine at like 30 seconds, so we don't have to worry about that. So yeah, power gen. And now you can see that my power is looking kind of bad, but it should be enough to win the night. Well, it is enough because I did win. So yeah, GMB of 414. Don't forget about that. It's the last time you have to turn on GMB. If you don't, you will die. So make sure to keep the GMB cycle. It's the last thing you have to worry about. And now just sit there. Just sit there. If anything shows up that is dangerous, like for an example, Chica, put on the mask, and GG.
Chat is over.
It's over. So yeah, that's my commentary of the 5020 no def coin run. Last thing that I want to say is it might have sounded like I was overreacting here, and definitely sounded like I was almost crying. But I don't know. If you watched my other videos of my completions, I kind of always sound like I'm crying when I react to beating something difficult. I don't know why I do that. But I was not crying here. I was just very, very happy. If you watched this video that I uploaded, if you didn't, you should do that. Before showing the run, I explained that this took me 9 days. 9 whole days. Where I grinded for like 4 to 8 hours. It was a big, big grind. I got an email from like Microsoft Activity, and I'm not kidding. Ultimate Custom Night was like almost around the same hours as something like Discord, which I keep open literally as I boot up my PC, and it only gets like turned off when I turn off my PC. And Ultimate Custom Night was up there with like time of like application open. It was wild. It was a wild, wild grind to do this. And funnily enough, I had a run that died at 418. The reason why I died at 418 was because my power was terrible. And the reason why that happened was because I would forget the side vent closed. Because every time I'm flipping the cameras, I'm closing the side vents for Balloon Boy, obviously. And sometimes I'd forget the side vent closed, and that would drain my power. So one thing to keep note is if that happens to you, always check your usage meter. Because your usage meter should always be a 1, pretty much. When you flip the cameras, it's going to go to 2, obviously. But when you're in the office doing nothing, your usage meter has to always be at 1, right? When you're doing power gen plus fan, it's going to be a 1. When you're doing GMB, it's going to be a 1. Always keep it at 1. If you see that it's a 2, something that you have is probably closed. Make sure to open that so you don't have that tragic death that I had at 418. Or else I literally would have beaten this like 3 days before. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. That was the commentary slash guide slash tutorial of the 50/20 no def coin run. I think I covered most things. If something feels like I missed and you're dying to something that I didn't explain, I'm sorry. Again, you can watch the Bones 5 video that I'll be linking in the description. His video is very in-depth. If you need a more in-depth guide of 50/20 and like all of Ultimate Custom Night, you can watch that video. It was very helpful for me. That's how I beat it for the first time. I was watching his video. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.